All right, let's talk about this age-old concept of first week sales when it comes to hip hop, because really it doesn't get applied to any other genre. We're the genre that cares most about it, even though they literally do not matter. Now, I'm gonna put a caveat there because I do think still that it is a good metric to, and it's not perfect, track someone's progress in their career of like how mainstream they are or how large of an artist compared to their peers. However, a lot of artists, as we've seen in the past, have manufactured this. I've even met people who are able to literally, like, you can hire services or agencies that can boost your sales somehow, maybe with bots or like buying merch bundles or buying on iTunes, even though that doesn't even exist anymore. But you get the point. Like, you can finesse it somehow, especially if you do brand partnerships with, say, YouTube Shorts, like somebody in the near past. But if you're doing those partnerships, it still does equate to like how large you are of an artist, because most artists cannot get those partnerships. But anyway, here's why they do not matter. Again, because you can finesse it in that first week by launching 10, 15 different merch bundles with a physical CDs to artificially boost up your sales within just this 1 week, whereas afterwards it slowly or even rapidly falls off, whereby I'm not trying to call people out here because you know I love Uzi, but like he'll have really high first week sales, say with Eternal Take, and then albums that literally sold less in their respective first weeks surpass that album in the following year, just gradually getting streams on the following weeks. And so the reason they do not matter is because it doesn't necessarily equate to the quality or the replayability of the album. But then again, there can be an argument made that it does represent the hype behind the album for the fans to finally listen to it for the first time, and there are a lot of eyeballs on it. But does that mean that the music is actually good? And so the main problem that I think that first week sales has exacerbated on the music industry within the last couple of years, because before, like, say 2016, nobody really even knew about how much an album was selling. People were just listening to the music because they liked it. But then again, most of the artists that were out were like not necessarily industry plants, but industry backed, because the music industry wasn't accessible to anybody with services like DistroKid or TuneCore, where anybody can release music, or even SoundCloud. And so every album was basically going to do well, at least in the public eye. But again, the main problem as of recent is that it puts on like a huge pressure on these artists so that they don't necessarily want to drop albums unless they know it's perfect. And with art, because it's so subjective on like the audience, if they're gonna like the music, or the individual person, you can never really make it technically perfect. And so then that's why we get these like 2 to 3 year long waits, because there's so much pressure. And Uzi even spoke about this on DJ Academic's vlog or interview, in that if you already sold like 200, 300K first week for a previous album, like fans are expecting you to beat that. Or if you go lower, they're gonna say that you fell off. Now imagine a world that we didn't even know how many streams or how much the album sold within its first week. Artists would be dropping albums like NBA Youngboy or Yeet, where it would be like 3-4 projects a year, just because of the frequency that they actually record music. And so in my opinion, potentially we could be in a better landscape of hip hop actually producing good music, because right now the problem with all like the OGs and all-time greats that again have sold a lot first week, they're not dropping as often because they have to make sure it's perfect when they do drop, instead of just expressing themselves through their art form. It's become so commercialized in essence. But on the flip side, it could also be argued that this could be a good thing, that artists are not flooding the market with like bullshit music, fast food every 3 months. And so they are taking their time, making sure that it is perceived well, again, within its first week. But I am a strong advocate that when you release a bunch of content, the feedback loop becomes shorter. And so then you kind of learn faster what your fans are liking, instead of essentially guessing every 3 to 4 years when you're delaying these albums. So again, hypothetically, say like Travis Scott were to be releasing like small EPs every few months on what he's working on, he would see that one song on this EP did well because it's a certain sound, and then the next project he dropped 2 more that are similar to that, and those streams were going crazy as well. Just off 2 little EPs, you already know what your fans are wanting, so that on this bigger project that you put more marketing dollars behind, it's going to be better music overall, or at least it's going to be the type of music that your fans want. Whereas we see all the time, artists delays album for 3 years. Commercially, by the numbers, it goes crazy, 200-300K first week, but then, you know, people call it mid, or within a couple weeks, it falls out of their like daily rotation of music that they listen to because it just wasn't really the type of music that they like. And so that's why music at this point, in addition to being fast food, it's also become more mid in a way. If you think about it, hip hop has become so popular that it is just another version of pop music. And what did we hate about pop music all through the 2000s, 2010s, and even now? It just sounds like the same old garbage beats restructured with some different lyrics that literally mean nothing, but they always do well because NPCs on the radio and Spotify playlists, just for some reason, maybe they don't even like it that much, but they just hear it so often, and it's a tried and true formula of catchy music that they'll listen to it in the background. And so I'm afraid that perhaps this has also happened to hip hop. And this is why in 2016, when Uzi, Yachty, Cardi, Juice WRLD X, all of them blew up, it's because they were dropping music so often on SoundCloud without even like a perfect mix. They were just throwing shit out there, seeing what stuck. And what did that create? Probably one of the greatest generations of hip hop that has ever come. That can be argued against for all these lyrical, spiritual, miracle rapper fans, but you get the point. And that's why I've even gone more into SoundCloud lately, just listening to all these new rappers that are dropping all the time. Yes, it's not perfect, but at least it's something different. And so overall, I think that first week sales, the whole pressure behind it and fans getting all toxic and making it a whole competition, because I do still find value in first week sales just to justify when I'm debating somebody about who's actually influential, who's really the bigger rapper. That's where it kind of applies within the music industry, but at the same time, that could easily be manufactured just by waiting so long, as well as creating some convoluted marketing campaign, which in my opinion, marketing also, especially with these algorithms, where if the music is good, it's going to get pushed regardless, just because there's a lot of watch time and click-through rate and replays, that if you play it completely organically, that's where you'll get the best music. But of course, labels are in the business of making everything perform as best as they can, but you get the point. First week sales has somewhat ruined the whole experience behind music because people are just going for numbers rather than actual good music. I know that I talk about it a lot just because it is a hot topic whenever an album releases. However, just because something sells super well doesn't mean I necessarily like that music, and I'm very open about that. But with all that being said, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about first week sales. Do y'all think it necessarily equates to high quality music when it gets high sales? Because personally, I don't even care. And there's even other ways to finesse it, like features that I always say, like some artists literally always stack their projects with like half of the album is other people. And it's like, bro, that's not even your album at this point. You're not even recruiting other artists to help you along this audio experience album to improve the actual song. You're just doing it because you know it's gonna get you more eyeballs on your song slash album. And that's why first week sales suck. But that's just the world we live in, so we can't really do anything about it, and I don't see anything changing. And so it has been your boy Bobbalam signing off, selling triple styrofoam on this video because it doesn't have Playboy Cardi in the title. Of course, make sure to like, subscribe to the Bob Gang if you with it. Peace out, copy. You know what I'm saying?